Martin Luther King Jr. Today is a day of memory. I think Martin was a extremely intelligent, smart, inspirational, a word that I don't use very often to describe people, but inspirational man who knew how to tackle inequality in an effective way. And I feel as if today is nothing more than a day for people to scream, to yell, to blame, rather than come together as people, no matter the color of your skin, and become unity, become a community together to stand strong against inequalities that we face in America or around the world in general. And I thought I'd share some quotes by Martin Luther King Jr. because I feel as if a lot of people don't really understand what his message has been because it's been so convoluted through all different types of people with Black Lives Matter. You just go onto Twitter right now and you can see a few of these things. Racism does not exist. You can't be racist to white people. Saying fuck white people or crackers not racist. Shut the fuck up. Going out to eat today and not tipping my waiter/waitress if they're white for culture. White people aren't good people and shouldn't even be allowed to talk about Martin Luther King Jr. These are just many of the tweets that are being spread on social media today on Twitter with all these hashtags, and it's really discouraging. It's demotivating. It's sad that people actually write this and think this way. If you want to cause a divide among people, this is how you do it. You blame someone because of their skin color. Where we are now with Black Lives Matter movement and all of this crazy stuff that white people are the problem for every living thing around us is disheartening, but it's concerning because I think that you and I both know that this was nothing that Martin Luther King Jr. would ever want. Nonviolence is the absolute commitment to the way of love. Love is not an emotional bash. It's not an empty sentimentalism. It is an active outpouring of one's whole being into being of another. Man must evolve for all human conflict, a method which rejects revenge, aggressive, and retaliation. The foundation of method is love. This is a man who preached love. Do not hate. And all I see on Twitter is just hate upon hate upon hate for white people, for what was done hundreds of years ago. And are we really ever going to progress past that if people still are up in arms about what happened hundreds of years ago, to hold us accountable and never progress and move forward? There's only so much in the past if you're still hung up on the past hundreds of years ago, chances are you really don't want progressiveness. You don't want us to move forward to bettering ourselves because white people are still the goddamn issue. It doesn't matter how kind they are, doesn't matter what they've done to help other people, other cultures, other ethnicities, they're just the enemy. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? What are you doing for others by not tipping your waiter or waitress because they're white? Kindness is not a flaw. It's not something that should be looked down upon. People fail to get along because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because they have not communicated with each other. And communication has been, for the most part, shut down because we can't even talk. I can't even talk about Martin Luther King Jr. way. There are people who don't think that I'm even qualified to mention him. I can't even have him as an inspirational figure of someone who was a wise man, an intelligent man who knew what he was doing. I'm not allowed to talk about him because I'm white. This is the exact opposite of what he wanted, of what he was trying to pursue in terms of equality and social justice. Nonviolence is a powerful and just weapon which cuts without wounding and ennobles the man who wields it. It is a sword that heals. Violence as a way of achieving racial justice is both impractical and immoral. I am not unmindful of the fact that violence often brings about momentary results. Nations have frequently won their independence in battle, but in spite of temporal victories, violence never brings permanent peace. And he's absolutely right, it doesn't. Returning hate for hate multiplies hate, adding a deeper darkness of the night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. Hate multiplies hate, violence multiplies violence, and toughness multiplies toughness in a descending spiral of destruction. These are quotes of the many, 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 many quotes of Martin Luther King Jr. And I could sit on here for an hour reading these types of quotes where he talks about how violence is not the answer, how aggression and having war with one another because of our skin color and making us have a divide in between communicating to one another and helping other people, trying to help someone of a different ethnicity. But we're white. We can't do anything to help anyone because we are the problem. He would never want this. And we cannot forget his message that's been twisted and convoluted into something that was never meant to be. And I want to make this video just as a reminder to show people kindness where kindness should be given. I'm not saying you gotta be nice to every single person, but I've been colorblind my whole entire life. And I see people as people, no matter their skin color. And if we can just get to that point where people of all different ethnicities and skin colors can accept people for who they are, we'll be on our way to progress from being held in the past.